excited for, because from speaking to the players, we heard that like the teams that played against Eternal Fire thought that Eternal Fire were going to make it. The teams that played against FUT thought they were going to make it because they have been horrible to play against. And now we get to see who does it best, because only one can be the most aggressive, most fiery team within the region. And at the start of it, you can already see that contact made. Sop with a shot through the wall. We heard there's some potential bad blood between him and his team. We'll see if that's the start of something.
Certainly a strong start with FUT taking the A side as a result of that pick, landing a plant as well. There's no real way for Eternal Fire to punish what's on the other side. For FUT, they keep the control over our 3 players there, but one looking the wrong way. Echo slides in for a quick one while Izzy gets back into the action with a double. Now, suddenly, the shoe on the other foot as Eternal Fire heat up into this A site. One found by Yedije as time ticks away. The flash up close catches Fabian. He's caught himself with it. The defuse to half. Now FUT goes swinging in and deny for a moment, buying that little more time. But the battle is what Eternal Fire wanted. 1-0 for the defense.
It's already just straight back and forth in the pistol round. And I have to say, like, coming into this series, I thought there was maybe even an opportunity for FUT to ban this map and maybe head somewhere else, just because of how good Eternal Fire have been, how awkward they make it to play against them. Of course, the compositional change, I think, definitely makes things a bit more interesting about how they'll face up against them. And then for FUT, well, I know this is something you're always going to talk about, the hometown of Ascent. We always give it over to those Turkish players. But to pick it versus another Turkish team, I think is daring.
Oh, for sure. We've talked about it a million times. Your 82nd province of Turkey over on Ascent. Things have changed in recent times, in the last year or two, really. But it still is one of those coin flips, as you say, pick up against the Turkish team. Being one yourself certainly helps you out. But, well, like you said, starting it out, this game is all about fighting fire with fire. For EF, they're the ones to draw first blood, land themselves that second round with a decent investment. A couple SMGs in there, but no player operating on a pistol here. It means the margin for error is decently low. A chance for FUT to make this a economically costly round at the very least. But look how patient EF are being. On the B side of the map, super passive holds. Yes, they've pushed up B long, but that's where the push stops. And that gives so much information. It allows a 3-stack on A. It stops over rotations. It stops panic from coming into play. And as the timer ticks on, FUT have no ground. And they haven't managed to force the fights they were looking to out of that early aggression.
It looks like they're just going to try and hit the same spot, just hoping that their push away and lack of information maybe calls for a rotation. But it hasn't done. The Eternal Fire are calling the bluff of their opponent, and when you're known as a team that goes hyper-aggressive, when you don't go aggressive, your opponents can get a little bit confused. Not a bad start, though. One of those guns already dropped. That timer is ticking, and they've traded out effectively. A couple of guns picked up, a plant guaranteed. Now the other two only just getting on the scene.
Enemy remaining.
Oh, Sop with another. This round spiraled out of control. It stands in the hands of the Outlaw and Izzy. Already managing to find an upgrade, at least a chance to take them both down now. He's got the right weapon, but a tough job on his hands. Sociable falls and Sop right behind him. Izzy with an unbelievable clutch. The round should always have been Eternal Fire's, but that is outrageous. The Red Bull clutch.
That's crazy. Again, it's just the back and forth of these rounds. Like, going into the site with just over 15 seconds left, managing to trade out with basically no weaponry, a solid seize, and just some great work with the classics. And then Izzy managing to isolate both of those fights. The man to replace Sop, and it's safe to say Sop has been going for it in some of these early rounds. We heard from Ordaz, we sort of asked him, is there going to be anybody that is really gunning to beat Sop? And he said the in-game leader of Neki, the man who probably would have wanted to keep this core together. Well, to be honest, if Izzy keeps playing like that, he might not miss him too much.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a big round from Izzy. Again, though, looking at how we got there. The start of the round, it should be EF's win. And for FUT, they can be happy that they pushed it so far, that they made it costly. This should now be an easy round. Like you said, the bye week for Eternal Fire, when this could have been 5 weapons, granted 2 SMGs, 2 Bulldogs, but they've got none of that to work with now, except the one on Izzy. Look how easy these fights find their way into the hands of FUT. A little bit of a danger brewing here with Izzy up so close, already making it to the back side, but shut down and put in his place. Big round from Zeus and an in-zone flawless. That's how it should have went for FUT. And now you think about the last 2 rounds, dominantly winning the one they should here and making a very weak round that had 30 seconds left by the time they pushed the site with no ground, no info, and they brought it down to a 1v2. Yeah. The start is looking good for FUT.
Yeah, I will say, I like the fact that Eternal Fire don't over-reinvest in that round. They look at it and go, look, the last one was scuffed. Let's take an eco, see what we can do. And now go back into this one with a 4-buy. It means the operator will be in hand for Izzy, which has been a defining factor of this squad. And it's going to allow for a very aggressive stance. The reveal is fantastic, but he gets nothing off the back of it. FUT not taking any early damage. They're going to retreat back into a bit of a mid-play. Crystalli going looking, but nothing to be found.
It will be a slow burner to start. A minute 15 and FUT go walkabouts on the doors. There's one spotted. Information for Eternal Fire to work with. Having pushed up an A main though, I think the real danger is that Izzy decides to go pushing further, that he tries to take that space and walks right into Yedege. For now, that's what FUT are hoping for, that either Yedege gets the contact or they find some space towards B, but here's the real payoff. If he can find one, and he does, beautiful work. Almost gets away with dodging the flash as well. A trade here for Eternal Fire. It's not bad, but it does put that pressure on those players stranded on B long as FUT look to finish this push.
They're going to have to give the game away, but those rotations are very far away. This double up might be a surprise though. You can see FUT being careful to try and clear everything other than towards long, and that's where Ordaz will strike a third. For him, looking to try and almost close this out alone. Well, eventually, Echo is there to help him. A fantastic round from Ordaz. Well, having a look back to their previous series as well, I feel like at times he's been the quieter member of this squad. But in their last match, he was their best player by a fairly considerable margin. And if he's going to play like this, it's going to be a bad day for FUT.
Well, we've seen that now from a few players.
You could say about any of them, really.
Yeah, that's the exact thing, right? Like, Neki ain't got on the board yet, but you know he's out gunning for crown and wearing it with pride. Well, one of these teams,
in this case.
Indeed, they're ex-teammates. For Eternal Fire, this would be a monumental victory for FUT, a sign that the changes they've made to the roster have put them back on course. The Flame heating up with a 3-1 scoreline on the defense, and Izzy is not letting off the gas. He's already found an opening, but it's returned immediately. Echo getting a little bit greedy around Art, and that's going to get the ult out of Fabian. That's probably not the flash we wanted to see, but he gets away with a kill anyways. And they're still going.
The re-swing from Izzy. There's always a second layer with Eternal Fire. You think you finally quelled the flames, and then it rises from the ashes once again to burn your forest down. And while FUT are feeling the burn, a run back towards the B side. They think, okay, they've had, what, how many? 3, 4 players pressure us in mid? We heard the fallback. How many players can there realistically be on this side of the map? Well, the answer is 2. They are ready and waiting, already having that information. Prowler will get them 1, and Neki with the kill leaves just Crystalli.
Nice.
A very nice start, but finding that second, impossible. 4-1, lead extended, and Eternal Fire getting further and further ahead.
Yeah, a blazing strong start from them, considering the fact that, again, we saw them look shaky in round 2 and 3. It dominated in round 3, although they only had those pistols, which is the damage in round 2. But now, finding that rhythm, going for this early aggression with Izzy, swapping his position after the first kill round to Art. And again, we talk about the aggression. Echo goes out for more, and it's a bad thing because he gets traded. What do? They do it again. They send 2 more players out to take the fights. And that's where Eternal Fire, especially because first was the Phoenix ult, then the opt to post on the line after. It's tempered aggression. They're not just holding W from the second the round goes, from the second they get contact. And they throw themselves into the mix at such awkward moments. It makes it really difficult for FUT to do anything. Now on the site, a lot of presence taken but that ult from Sop's got them a foothold.
Yeah, this is a 5-ult round. A lot of potential, even with the weaker weapons, and with Sociable already trading another. This has gone from a point of not much opportunity to a point of stealing a round away. That overdrive already doing more than its fair share. And now with Zeus having his ultimate online, it's just whether he wants to use it. A little bit labored, but once again, it's the Sociable show. A Thrifty, and already they will get themselves a second.
A big round for FUT to find after that little bit of a lull in the action. Right back onto the horse, and most importantly, Leave putting the pressure onto the economy of Eternal Fire. We'll see what they get up to when we get back into the game, but I'm seeing right now a crazy mixed bag of a buy from them.
Let's go!
And it's really drawn my eye, Tom. I got to be honest, it's not what I expected to see. 4-2 in the lead. There's been some shakier rounds. There's been some opportunities for FUT, and they just come in with an all-in play. A pistol, a judge, alongside the rifles, but that op on Izzy, we've already seen it have so much impact. Denied that opening shot, though.
And aggressive position. Prowler used to clear. They've realized how much they've lost in terms of map control. Things are scary, though. Look at how much Fabian has already taken. The pop flash, perfect! But there's 3 players around the corner, and oh, that's his timing, could it be worse? It knows they're there eventually. Okay, we see Sop stop. That's the main thing. If he walked any further, he would have been dead to the judge. And now they've lost full control.
And that risk not paying off. A Sheriff, the one to find the first blood for that squad, and it doesn't last long. Izzy left with the op on the other side of the map. And yeah, that is a real big gamble taken by the squad that was in the lead, and now it's going to come back to haunt them. FUT's chance to basically equalize the scoreline. And sure, the op is going to be saved, but what is it going to be alongside in the next round? We're not going to force buy up around it, surely.
Is it going to be saved?
Well, that's the other question.
Ooh, I don't think it is! Timing couldn't be any worse. And Sociable, this is something we've talked about a lot. I don't think that he somehow micro-called the timing there to get it perfectly, but he does seem to be incredible when it comes to that timing, that spacing, like the wraparound behind while his teammates took full control through middle. You see that judge perfectly placed, if not for his backstab. And even though some of the games last year where we watched him on this map, he was playing chamber and aggressively killing people with a Marshall, it seems like he can still do it while on Astra.
Sociable's been very impressive. I think on this map in particular, they only played it, what, once through the regular season against mates. But it's Astra just as strong then as we're seeing in these formative rounds. Sociable's being left unchecked! How has he gotten away with that?
He was full blind for like a good 10 seconds. Oh no! The aggression from Echo's worked! We talk about going for the second bite of the cherry and sometimes it being a problem. This is the other side of it. This man takes uncharacteristic risks. Yenergy looks to try and turn, and it's not going to be enough. Another thrifty round, and this is as manic as I expected it to be.
Another Omoda thrifty coming through, and the reality of that one, Tom, it's a head scratcher. I'll have to see that one in the replays. Like,
which bit?
Every part of it.
Which bit?
Top to bottom. They flash him, a reveal pops, and he just stands there spraying away, and yet, even though the round looks lost, that re-aggression from Eternal Fire, we talked about it. In this case, calculated, because you hear it, the shot's firing out of the Classic. He goes, he's out of ammo now, swings through, and takes his head off. A second for Echo, and the same aggressive stance that we've seen cost Eternal Fire some early fights, some advantages. It more often than not raises its head for a round win by just catching your opponents off guard. This squad, they are the ankle breakers within Valorant, and FUT are paying the price for it.
Well, we're back to a 4-buy. Uncharacteristic in the manner in which we got there. Of course, the divide has gone down, but they haven't managed to take any space.
Why destroyed?
Crostally's ult is available, but it's the flash. Never mind. Another full blind kill coming out from Echo. But I think that was just a pre-fire through the smoke. I don't know if there was a gap in maybe the switch of smokes. No, that one's only just fading away. So I think Sok just got a little bit lucky. Now the other Cosmic Divide goes down, and they're still stuck behind it.
30 seconds left.
Echo wasn't seen by the ult, but they should know there could be a gap, but sneaking his way on top of the boxes worth so much for Eternal Fire. Money on the board for FUT, and it falls flat as a result of this man yet again. Echo winning them the previous with the Sheriff, and now a thorn in their side, and the wound proving deadly. 6 locked in for the defensive side, and sure, Sociable will find himself a kill here.
For the confidence.
And they're going to keep going. The ace will be found in the end by Echo. And a 6th alongside it. That is remarkable stuff. And that's got to put the win fully in the sails of Eternal Fire.
It's funny because the rest of his team are not doing that well on credits. So him going down there might have been silly, but you know that that extra kill was worth its weight in gold. The extra confident, the wave to sit down. And what this man is able to do, like he genuinely is, sort of the kid that you go, if you keep doing that, you're going to bang your head on the table. And sometimes he does, and then the next round, well, it looks like he can fly. For a youngster that was only able to come into this stage, he was still on the roster at kickoff, but just wasn't old enough to play. The other youngster that wasn't able to play for Ulf is now sat across the stage from him, making his debut in VCT EMEA on FUT. Now one of them will guaranteed fake it. And okay, talk about the timing of Sociable. This time, it doesn't go his way. The aggressive flash through, taking back the space, forcing them into Izzy, but he does miss a shot. A potential backstab shot, getting even further forward, finds one, and there's a multitude of kills within a second. It puts things down to just one. Echo again, an ace in the last round. This time, he needs a 1v3.
Sickening stuff too. Izzy got hit by the stun, still managed to land what I assume was hip fire on the op, but because Sup jumped, it was into his legs. That was the difference maker. Echo, another big play needed, and 2 lined up, but 1 very low. If he can get Sup, the second might find its way into his hands, but no. The round goes to the numbers of FUT. 6-4 now, a 2-round gap. And 2 rounds left to play for in this half. It's anyone's game.
Genuinely, at times, it does feel like, well, an overstimulated game of deathmatch. Like, we are just watching these teams run around with everything being thrown in, and whoever just hits the shots the best is the one to win. 6-4.
They are mine.
Ultimates and cash expended. This is the thing for Eternal Fire. They're not really able to keep those credits up, but then we've seen both teams somehow win with low buys. I feel silly to doubt them at this stage.
We saw FUT almost win with Classics too. And a few Sheriffs. There's no telling what's coming next in this one, but
flip a coin.
Very, very patient display from FUT to start. Breaking that Prowler in A main, but then stacking up, holding every angle, waiting for a peek, waiting for someone to put a foot in the wrong direction and give them an opening. The Molly doesn't force the fight the way they wanted it. Flash, though, is perfect. Fabian somehow stands his ground, though. A double, and he slides in for more, but Sup with a double of his own has pulled us right back into favor for FUT. In a game of what happens next, you're guaranteed to lose in this one. 3 versus 2. A pistol for Audaz on the retake. Surely, we're looking at 6-5.
Found himself a rifle, but timing is going to... Oh, should have been perfect! No! Sociable's whiff! And now the shot's through the smoke as well! Keep flipping those coins! Every kill, it could go either way! Leaving Sup to try and clutch it out, and he can't quite manage it! Audaz will hold the line! And what he said that maybe he didn't have anything against Sup. I want you to see his reaction when he won that clutch.
Yeah, it's telling a different story down on that stage, the whole body language.
Nothing but love, he says. Let's see what he did when he won the round. Oh, how does he not get that kill?
Last player standing.
Nothing but love. That is nothing but love right there.
I do not want to see him angry.
Thank you very much for all of the reactions. That's perfect.
Oh, man. What a crazy pickup for for Eternal Fire. Guaranteed the lead now at the half. And already, FUT trying to respond with aggression, getting up in their face. But it's Izzy fighting back with the shorty with the off. He's playing gun game.
Spike down A.
And it's nothing but net in those early fights. Sociable and Yedege all alone. The spike dropped well and truly out of their hands, out of their control, and it seems like they're out of their depth in this matchup, at least in half one. 8-4 for Eternal Fire, pending no 1v5 aces from Yedege. And what a half that is to start out. Their map pick and coming in looking dominant in the first half.
Tripwire destroyed.
It's safe to say that in the battle of aggression, thus far they have won out. But normally, it is the defensive side that if you're going to call a team over-aggressive, it is that defense. So we'll have to wait and see. They don't really need to be facing this. Of course, the time ticking away. This feels like it'll be nothing more than stat padding
Give me a
for Yedege.
Where is it?
As if it wasn't hard enough, they're going to reveal exactly where he is as well. So 30 seconds left. They can all lock in a massive firing squad, just sat waiting for him to try and round this corner. And yeah, I don't even know if it's worth going for anything here. Maybe just wanting to even keep a little bit of pride, not give them the satisfaction of killing him off. Triple spray down in 5 seconds. You ever seen it before? Because I certainly have not.
No, that will be a new one to add to the books. 8-4 at the half, though. A solid defense coming out from Eternal Fire, but we know that FUT are not going to just give up. Not in a match like this with stakes like this on the line. It's time for the halftime break, but during it, luckily we had time to catch up on the Turkish round table during the Spike Drop podcast. Let's see what our players had to say about the playoff bracket.
Do you think that their side of the bracket is tougher?
I want to see how they do with this Phoenix on the defensive side, because at times teams can find it quite difficult. I think that Fabian is like a different gravy. Like he's so good at hitting the timings on those flashes. And also, this was the side of the map that last time out versus mates, we really saw FUT struggle on. Sure, it's a different comp. Sure, they will have put work in to adapt to that. But Eternal Fire are not going to make it easy for them.
I would be surprised and disappointed if they did. A 4-round lead, and a pistol round that could set them on track to close this map out. Maybe take that crown out of the hands of FUT, moving into Ascent. Exactly where they'll want to end the series. Carries a lot of weight amongst those Turkish teams, just like this pistol carries a lot of weight for Eternal Fire. Deep play. The plant's going in.
Spike planted.
For a deep push into spawn. We've got a battle brewing on both sides,
Contact
but that flash from Fabian could change absolutely everything. There goes the reveal. Counter flash in play, but he's been blinded himself. They couldn't get out there for more than just the one kill, and now the crunch comes in. Sop and Cristalli able to do the damage, pressing forward with another. Now the advantage in the hands of the defenders. Audax won't stand his ground, and Echo is left to make another big play. And of course, Echo delivers.
My God, this guy is in incredible form. The first one should have been more difficult, but just every single shot landing. And it really seems like of all the people in the server right now, the one who wants to be winning this match, the one that wants to be heading over to London is Echo. Oh, 9-4. Now a very difficult road back in this one for FUT. We saw some success in low buys, and there has been a minute amount of investment here, Mitch, but I'll be honest with you, I'm feeling like Eternal Fire might have this map in the bag.
Well, if Echo keeps playing like this, that's a guarantee.
Yeah. He enjoys this map as well. I think it was last time out versus Heretics, 21-14. A lot of the time you expect that to be through just being a site anchor, but he's not really an anchor, more of like a free-flowing... I don't know what you would call that. I don't think it exists on boats.
A boy. One of those, is he?
The boat boy, yeah?
Oh boy, that's what they call him.
Where is he
That
going?
was a crazy push, and I don't mean that in a good way. I'm not sure what he was thinking,
One enemy remaining.
getting down and dirty that deep into spawn, but although Izzy gets punished, Eternal Fire don't. The Flame is catching at 10-4. And for FUT, well, it's time to wake up. Money's about to go.
Here.
We fully invested into this one, and listen, if this falls by the wayside, Tom, I get more worried than I expected to be here today for FUT. Because coming into this series, yeah, history and so on, of even just the banner there, and with how the stage went, I think they do come in as the favorites, certainly if you lean on the experience of some of their players. But to have just 4 rounds, that's going to be terrifying for the next map, for the bounce back, as it should be on Ascent, of all maps up against Eternal Fire.
Yeah, it's one where I don't think I've ever met a Turkish player who isn't comfortable on Ascent, but also it's one where you don't know what your opponent's going to be running. You can guess. I think a lot of people have been running Neon Phoenix, so I don't think it's going to be anything crazy. But dealing with them could be difficult. But well, I was going to say what looked like a good start, but already Necky's just turned it back, and now Orders has found another. They walked up into a B site that had 3 players within it. Oh, well, they've walked out smelling the roses.
Yeah, and the fight that happens on this site makes sense. You've got 4 players pressuring through a choke point. You find the first, but they trade out in the numbers. They get posted on the angle. It is what it is. How the hell did Necky just get away with a double down long? He was alone. He was caught with a Prowler in hand, and he gets out with 2 kills. Mistakes, pardon me, like that shouldn't be happening, can't be happening for FUT at this stage. It's past crunch time. We're at do or die in this map. No signs of life for quite a while. They're teaching him how to use the mouse, leading by example. And 11-4, Eternal Fire are on the home stretch.
It's genuinely just crazy. Like, as you said, there's a lot of moments where you just feel like they're losing 1v1 fights, and that's kind of turning the round. But yeah, as you said, like it was what, a 1v2 almost for Necky.
There's other rosters, like for example, FUT. Maybe they don't benefit from it. Maybe they need that lead up, that runway, that heat up time, because Eternal Fire have come in hot to the touch, and they look untouchable.
Especially after losing your last game in groups. Like, sure, it's a wake-up call, but also you might need just like that little bit of, well, excuse the pun, extra footing. Either way, they've had to force this one up. Had to put everything they've got into this round. And while that B site is already firmly under the control of their opponents, they have forgotten something, though.
Yes, they have. The spike is quite far away, but you know, no issues in terms of it getting there. There will be issues in terms of who's waiting for them.
It's going to be very confusing for FUT, just going like, wow, they're really taking their time, aren't they? They really are checking every angle, every nook and cranny, and wow, this is the problem. You could have had the spike down by now. Instead, you're having to play a little bit more aggressively. This gives an opportunity for FUT to get in a bit early, but maybe they don't come out alive. The trades again. It just seems like every member stepping up when needed, and now Crystalli is all that remains. And who else but Echo?
You know that this means a lot to both teams, but it does feel like it means that little bit more to Eternal Fire, to the young guns on the other side of the stage. They've seen the other Ascension team make it to an international. Why can't they? And now, well, they're not 1 round away from it, but 1 round away from being 1 step closer, from being within touching distance of an international event for a team that wasn't even thought of in the league just a couple of months ago. 8 chances to close this out, and against regional rivals of FUT. This feels like a Promethean task, and one that they're well and truly up to.
Nightfall thrown in. A lurk on 2 different fronts from the attack. Re-aggression, and while it seems like the lurk might not even be necessary, the main take has already done the work. They were waiting for players to try and come in from behind, but there is nobody left to move. Even still, though, maybe overdoing it. Wanted to close things out a little bit too soon. A 5v2 has quickly turned. It's now possible.
Possible, indeed, but difficult at the same time. That Gravwell buying much more time. The long wraparound from Necky, who they think is right alongside Echo. Well, now they're going to have a surprise extra angle as in comes Neki. The smoke fades, but Yedige lands the shot. They were cautious, and rightfully so.
That's definitely Eternal Fire getting a bit ahead of themselves. Sure, still a monumental lead, still 12 and 5, but that was a 5v2. That only went back in the other direction because of these players getting over aggressive at the post plant. The remaining 3, that they had to swing onto that spike eventually. I can't blame them, but it's the 2 others that get just a bit too aggressive.
And I would stand here alongside you condemning those actions, criticizing them. If I hadn't seen those same actions...
Yeah, they've worked about 8 rounds in a row.
Yeah, they've worked 90% of the time they do it. So genuinely, any other team, I'm like, y'all through, that was hard to watch. But for these guys, you played your win condition, so it's fine. Sometimes you lose it. But for FUT, the way back in is so steep. It's such a difficult journey.
At least it exists.
But it does exist, and they have a chance. They did.
Never mind, it doesn't exist anymore. You know, like there was a small like 0.1% chance that just hit 0, but because Izzy has managed to hit a collat, Ordaz has got his back as well. This leaves only 2 remaining. Hey, you remember that last 5v2 where they overpushed? I would say that's not going to happen again.
Knowing these guys, I would say it would, but I see it's not. They're being patient, they're being passive, and in the end, they're being victorious. 13-5, a lesson taught. Expect FUT to come in looking like a different team, because that's what needs to happen.
Yeah, and from the other side of things, Eternal Fire, they tasted defeat early to Fnatic. We started to question Fnatic. And then they beat BBL, they beat Vitality, Pacific, GX, Heretics. They are going through teams that we have talked about. And sure, FUT have done similar in the other group while tasting defeat at the end. Have they recovered from that defeat? Or is this going to be a whitewash for Eternal Fire? That's a pretty good start. The knife maybe just a little bit too late to find that Sociable was there. Oh, this pistol round already looking incredibly different, but we've seen them let them slip before, and already one coming back the other way! Again, it starts to slip! Vlad talked about the fact that they had advantages, and they let them go, and now Echo only needs 1, but Yedige has brought it back. Turning into a 1v1 scenario, Neki is desperately low. 4 bullets left to play with, but the time is on his opponent's side, and Yedige will save them. A pistol that shouldn't have needed a Red Bull clutch, but thankfully, Yedige will bring 1 home.
And you got to imagine a lot of the conversation backstage was about not giving those advantages away. It was about not having this happen again. And right off rip in round 1, we see that spark from Eternal Fire, and we see that slip from FUT. That has to change. So there is some love across the stage at least.
That was very aggressive love.
Yeah, it was. There's a little shaking going on there. But a 1-0 start for FUT. They've got the lead. Let's see how long they can hold on to it.
Yeah, they got the lead. It didn't look particularly comfortable, but I don't think they'll care too much. If anything, the clutch might have just been something worth that additional celebration. Of course, for Eternal Fire, not a whole lot to play with in this round. And it is worth noting that they did win both pistols in the previous map. So it's at least a bit of an early boost for the side of FUT. I think it's important that they get some of these rounds across the board comfortably. Because I think that was always the case. It's like with the pistols in the lower buys, even with advantages, they were letting a lot slip on Pearl, and on Ascent, they just can't allow that.
There's 5 players here, Tom. They're walking into the site where they've been spotted first in the choke point, then by the camera in wide. They should know the numbers are here. The rotates are in from Eternal Fire. The eye distracted on those players in heaven, but 2 close range kills from Zeus.
How many more?
Has delivered them from what would have been disaster. They're clearing Fabian as well.
Told you.
And well, yeah, when Zeus hits 3 no-scopes like that, it works out. Who would have known?
All I'm going to say is I said no-scopes before they entered the site.
You did. You did. But I'm not sure you would have been that confident if you were playing that round as if you were watching it. But
to be honest, I don't think I would have been that confident if it wasn't Zeus and Soft walking in with both having a Marshall with a one-shot no-scope that they just don't seem to miss. Another confidence booster. 2-0 for FUT. Of course, 2 very different ideas with the composition. Eternal Fire with something that almost seems reminiscent of old school Ascent, what we come to expect, but with the Waylay instead of the Jet. The more aggressive side is with FUT. Well, Zeus, I guess it doesn't matter what gun he has. If he keeps doing that, they're going to win the game.
It's only a matter of time till Echo shows up on the other side, though. It was the hero of the previous now. He's been spotted walking forward, but no one's there to catch him. His FUT fall back to the site. Retreat to the safe havens. Great reveal. Beautiful smoke.
And he's back.
And that will be the save called from Eternal Fire. Echo, he had his first ace of VCT in the previous map. Some big multi-kill rounds, some big clutches, but no opportunity to do the same this time around. In fact, holding onto that weapon now, looking like it could be under threat. Necky's on the other side of the map. He's gone all the way to B site. Echo is alone, and he will die that way.
Yeah, important to get rid of this additional weaponry. Make it much harder for Eternal Fire to have much of a hold. And this is one of the most important factors for FUT, is if you get Zeus firing and get that momentum building, especially on the Phoenix. This is what
feeling like he's a much better piece of the puzzle.
100%.
In terms of how he's fitting in here, and I think having someone competent like Sub alongside you, having a change in metas is where now double duelist is just par for the course. Little jumping game from Echo there. Manages to get his cage back, and it's deep aggression outside of B where they want this fight. But after Izzy sent back to cancel the fight in the rest of the map, and in fact Izzy won't even make it out of there. Cleanup crew in full effect in mid for FUT, and Echo's even being spotted here. Good night to you.
Yeah, this is just smart stuff coming out from the side of FUT. I don't mind the idea, like using the dart as a distraction to try and allow Izzy to make a play, but there was too many players around that angle to ever really fall for that trap.
One enemy remaining.
Well, now Ordaz is all that remains. Another clean round. The economy of FUT really starting to build up to a point of almost no return, and we're only 4 rounds in.
Yeah, well, I said coming into this map, it felt like it had to be a completely different team that we saw stepping onto that stage. They found 5 rounds in the entirety of Pearl, and it wasn't a top-down issue. It wasn't that they were, falling from the very first barrier up. No hurdles cleared. In fact, sometimes it felt like all hurdles were behind them. It was a clean stretch to the finish line, and they'd somehow still trip over themselves on the side of FUT. Yet now, clean at least in the first 4, and the trades are spectacular. A chance for Necky to catch them off guard. They clear him, but he still finds a double and makes it out alive.
Oh, he's done incredibly well. He was tagged low by the first guy. Maybe a little bit audacious, though. He wanted more. He wanted his cake, wanted to eat it too. Come on now. He is feeling maybe a tad foolish. Izzy still trying to clear everything on the other side of the map. Obviously wary of where Yetaje was, that lurker that could be anywhere, hiding in the darkness. Instead, he's just sat alongside his teammate on the A site. And now the operator becomes a retake tool that, I'll be honest, nobody really wants.
Yeah, it's definitely not the best weapon for this. And in fact, I'm surprised to see him even going for it at this stage. Again, what are you going to do with this and just this, but in the next round, But what are you going to do with it here? 1v2, time on their side. They're split up. They're not giving the fights. It's time to go. And that's exactly what Izzy does. Just gets out of here. It looks like his timing is okay to make it to make it across mid. Not deep like that, though. Gave Sociable a chance. Luckily, the shot isn't landed. But a 5-0 start, nonetheless, for FUT. A lights-out performance kicking off Ascent. And while we had questions about picking it, if it was a good idea, and whilst there's still so many more rounds to be played, for now, at least, it's looking like they made the right call.
Oh, it must have been going insane in Prax. Because even if something goes well in Prax, when you go like, okay, our opponent's probably going to pick a map that we don't particularly enjoy, no matter what we ban.
It's been almost a year since we played Ascent as well.
Yeah, we've not played it for ages because we haven't literally been able to. And then you must have just been literally railing everybody in Prax. Just go, yep, we're going to pick it anyway.
Pull it out.
And hey, it's looking fantastic. For the other side of things, it is a mixed bag buy. Few ultimates to play with is the major danger. But of course, there's also ults on the other side for FUT. They've won these last few rounds so cleanly, they haven't needed to use any.
Necky's getting curious. And whose patience will pay off first? It is his, but the trade is all that he finds. 2 players inside B main, or A main, sorry. But they're making their way towards this smoke. Waiting right outside it, Sociable. Conscious of the walk through, but the trade is good again. Eternal Fire making this round look winnable, look doable, and Sop's in trouble. His ult's being cancelled. He goes out knife in hand, unaware of the player up close, and yet still, FUT come out smelling of roses. Izzy in the same position as before. A 1v2, an up in hand, and the first shot doesn't land. 6-0. It's a clean card for FUT. And Eternal Fire, where did they go? This team was so dominant in that first map.
Sociable's a maniac. Bro, why are you solo hiding in a smoke with the spike? Like, there was no one even close to him to help him out if that went wrong. Like, it's mental, but hey, I guess when the rest of the players are playing this hot, it really doesn't matter that much, but that was terrifying. And I also want to say, I think it was Fabian's knife that just takes away the ult. Brilliant. Like, a little bit of genius in the moment, unfortunately. Just didn't have the weaponry to get that one over the line. Still, 4 ultimates to play with. Immediate usage of that Hunter's Fury. The only thing it's caught so far is the ult, but the TP across was found on the other side.
Zeus's ult sent right back to main as Sop falls. Zeus comes out of main and out of the round, and now, I'm not sure how he's gotten away with that one. Why didn't Necky have his knife out? But okay, Crystalli's last alive. Not even a chance to plant this spike, but he might be able to bait them into a fight. That's what he looks for now with a minute on the clock. But stepping into the op, the surefire way to send the round to Eternal Fire. Their first found at last.
Yeah, other than the knife in hand walking past a player that I'm pretty sure was revealed. Like,
yeah, I think they knew he was there.
I'm fairly certain, yeah, here. So he definitely, look, you can literally see him being picked. They know exactly where he is. But I guess he didn't expect him to just walk through the smoke.
I just watched this player cam in that replay. He literally starts screaming the second he died, like, what, he's in main? It's like, I don't know how he could be caught off guard by that. But
he is the guy that, at least in the early rounds, has been doing fantastically well. Definitely overheats quite a bit, but they've needed someone to try and turn this back. A mid-fight, an operator is on the other side as well. Is quite a comfortable gap, I would say, for Izzy to play around. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I would assume Echo through that cage if I didn't know any better. A bit of a mistake and a painful, costly one. Now for FUT, I mean, here's the problem. Maybe a benefit. Trapped in the corner was Yedeje. He gets the jump on Izzy. Trains that right back to a 4v4 and gets the ult off of the back of it. It's a lot to work with for this side, and well, Fabian somehow gets one, gets out, tucks in the corner. He's got backup now as well, and that spike is all alone. Even as he runs through, there's players all around him. Yedeje helps, clears up the spawn, but Crystalli landing that double has breathed life back into this round. They heard the TP. They don't know if he's faked it, but they will in a moment. Never mind. Cam not seeing him either. This is perfect. Audaz has flown completely under the radar. No!
Oh,
at the worst possible moment. He has made noise, and it has come back to bite him now.
They need to kill him.
Surrounding him.
There we go.
Finally dealing with him. What a play by Audaz.
Oh, that's so unfortunate.
It's a little too itchy on the trigger finger.
The worst thing is as well, if he doesn't shoot, I doubt they clear him. Like, because it's such a weird spot for not to shoot. But you can't blame him. He played that so fantastically well. I'd say as well, 2 big moments in this round coming out from just players on timing. Yedeje, after he uses his ult, realizes there's nobody around mid. He can take the space, grabs the orb, holds rotations. Very clever. Then you have Crystalli.
It's going to be very easy to find.
You'll forget.
I probably will. Let me write it down. All right. 9 rounds for FUT, and it's looking like a 3rd map on the horizon. Honestly, I think we're owed that today, but this battle ending on Ascent would be poetic in and of itself. The weight that this map carried for Turkish players and certainly Turkish teams for so long. The pistol with a start for FUT could be an end to the map, as they would be getting to double digits right off rip in half number 2. Spike on its way to B. But a late play by Audaz could catch them on the rotate. Oh my goodness.
Sociable. He did, like, the paranoia was great, but can he do anything more? Second layer to it. Zeus now goes in. That's why you got him on the team. You might blind them up, but he'll be the one to knock him down. It leaves the spike in no man's land. Echo now has to leave, has to go back in the other direction. The thing is, though, that Zeus is pretty isolated, and with the cam spotting him out, they now know exactly where he is. A chance to heal himself up a little bit, but that shouldn't help him versus the pistol of Echo. The Ghost will do the damage to the head. And now a ring around the Rosie. The defenders look to come in from behind, but they have been caught, and that trip might just be enough. No! Sopper's caught him before he can cross, and he will take Ordaz as well. Both pistols, just like the last map, but this time it's to FUT.
Yeah, and you can see that the dominance follows in terms of the score line. 10-3 with both pistols. We always say that it's difficult to lose a map when you have that much of a leg up. You got to do something pretty wrong when it comes to rifle rounds. And with it being so strongly in favor of FUT already, it really does feel like the beginning of the end for this map. Split as a third?
It's the best third map. It's the best map, but it's definitely the best third map.
It's not the best map, but well, I'll give you top 2 at least. Get buying some damn respect, but what a way to end out on this series. And I believe that's where we're heading. 11 should be on the board as Eternal Fire have classics to play with already. A man disadvantage in the workings. And in rounds like this, it is very much about gathering intel. How are they playing? Where are they setting up? Well, you're about to find out where the judge is. Soft! That is ridiculous. And he goes for more. Yeah. Of course he goes for more.
I like how Echo's spam with the body with the classic. It's like, bro, I'll be honest with you, you didn't come out on top there. He has managed to full 180 spin. He is managing to catch a few people with the cams. Ooh, that's not the prettiest, but the shot might do the damage, no? Now they should know he has a judge, and yeah, from there, no chance. It's only the one dropped, and the judge will even be delivered. 11-3, FUT 2 rounds away from map.
I love this as well. The fact that he looks at the first player and goes, hold on a sec, okay, back to you.
Yeah.
I ain't got time for you right now. I gotta like Fabian.
Put him on hold.
Yeah.
I'll
deal with you in a second.
I have another call.
Well, 11 on the board for FUT. A big round. They're talking to each other across the stage. That's hilarious. Well, 2 more needed, and we're going all the way to map number 3 in relatively dominant fashion for both teams and each of their map picks.
Oh, this is uncomfortable for Echo. He's taken out by Sopper the judge again. A judge is going to bring them nightmares if this ends up slipping away from them. Rizzy, the stun. There are 3 people around this corner. Now they knew this. Oh, there is opportunities, but somehow Cristalli walks away.
He's very lucky to get out of there. The heal already making it up to 100 for Zeus, mitigating a lot of that early damage. The walk up, this is dangerous. Neki doesn't know that it's being watched from up top. Oh, it's going to be such an easy kill for Yenishe. He's even slipping his way towards the window, letting his opponent think that the space is given for free, but there's a fight brewing that Neki wasn't ready for, wasn't aware of. 12 rounds, that's where FUT will be, the home stretch. If they win this, Eternal Fire still on the starting mark.
Oh, they don't check.
This is another massive problem. Sociable in with another. Now they're surrounded. Those players on site have nowhere to go. And this is the problem if you want to take the Turkish crown. It won't simply be handed over. You've got to earn it. And FUT making them pay a heavy price.
The battle on their map choice was a dominant one. But then you go to the hometown of FUT, seemingly one that we weren't quite aware of yet. A secret bunker that wasn't even available until this week. And what it's safe to say, that extra day or so of practice is clearly not gonna miss. And with this being a round where they had a Ghost, they had SMGs, they had a Judge, let's say I'm not believing in the 9-round comeback. In other words, I'm not insane.
Yeah, I'm not gonna call you crazy for that take, Tom.
No.
I think I might actually, for a rare occasion, I might be in the same boat as you.
Okay.
Careful now. Here we go.
But I'm not a foot doubter like you. Big flash coming in from Zeus. He'll be shut down. Izzy in with the double. And now it seems like Eternal Fire have finally found that flame on this map. Early success! Sociable brings it back,
try.
but it's a 1v3 as he falls.
Ooh.
Looks like it's not over just yet. Here on Ascent, at least another round.
Spike planted.
Not guaranteed, but certainly looking likely.
Yeah, there's a couple of low players. Economy-wise, a little bit shaky, but with the amount of rounds they have to play with, they might just want to go for this. They're lined up perfectly, though. And Izzy, what a round from him. It looked like the setup from FUT initially was fantastic. A molly into the corner, initial aggression to try and shut those players in A main down, but it was all Izzy. You could see the amount of pressure that he is under. He's completely blind and just spraying into the abyss. Was low from the initial fight, and then comes out with 4 kill. 12-4. Bit of frustration from Zeus. You've got lots of rounds to play with. And another buy coming right up.
What you got to remember as well, at this stage, it's really not about winning the map in these players' heads. They know what they're facing. They've seen these scorelines many times. It's rare to come back into it. It's about confidence. It's about building up that we could have done it. Attitude for the next.
Oh my God.
Every fight, you feel the weight of the blade digging deep into Eternal Fire. As now Sociable stands alone. They'll finish it. The leader of FUT with the Red Bull clutch. And anything they can do, FUT can do better at 13-4.
I think going into the first one, it really could set the tone. And obviously for FUT, I think the good thing for them is that they really struggled versus Heretics, but they're starting on the other side. They're starting on the attack. They get to set the pace. And on Ascent, that's where they really flew.
Well, setting the pace indeed, our FUT already onto the B site. And as the neon wall goes down, they realize that nobody is here waiting for them. They're the first to arrive at the party, but still bringing the noise up close. Sociable tagged up by his teammate's nade, but they don't expect him to be tucked in this corner. Able to find a couple here, our FUT, but the pressure's still on. As Eternal Fire with Fabian on 1 HP, get another nade. It's sent out with Sup wrapping around Fabian, landing his 3rd, but it's Sup to close it out up top. A 1-0 start for FUT, and a chaotic pistol round, a sign of what's to come.
Genuinely, I think our observers have got to be having an absolute nightmare this game, because it is just, it's not even just one player popping off, it is just a back and forth of just mania consistently going on throughout the round. An all-out brawl segmented into the realm of the B site. And you can see, I think that even the coaching staff of FUT know how integral that pistol round could be. The pistols have defined the victor. Oh, well, a chance maybe to just clean up. Again, they're doing well.
There always is a bit of a fight out of Eternal Fire, even when they're on these lower weapons, but that early success is very quickly slipped away. 3-player death ball from the remaining FUT players that move on the B site.
He hasn't picked up that judge. He has bought that judge.
I'm out of here.
It's not ideal now. If he has to play retake, it's pretty much useless. And if they walk into him the way they seem to be through the spawn,
If he's even going to look that way.
pretty much useless, yeah. Well,
Oh, okay. Spidey senses. Even still, this is not the angle that you want to judge. Unless Yedeje completely misses him, which he does not. And now knowing that he has a judge, probably quite confused as to why he does have a judge. They can just avoid him.
it's the right decision, considering the alternative is to run it down at the judge, which certainly wouldn't be favorable. Izzy, last one alive. The chance to do damage not looking very likely. He's now tagged to 6 HP, and Yedeje will very quickly deal with him. A nice second round from FUT. A few dangers, most certainly, but that's to be expected in this matchup.
I'm going to assume that the plan from Echo is that he's just buying the judge. Like, he has no plan to go in for a rifle right now, so you can buy a judge, die, go into the next round and buy another judge. The only thing I don't like about it is it's going to mean he can't afford his snake bite, which is going to make that judge so much more impactful with just being able to get the kills from range. So there's still a piece or two missing. He's also going to have light shields, which versus his opponent's weaponry could be a problem. And well, it's not a problem for Fabian, because Sop's already dead.
That judge still drawing breath. Another danger that FUT run right into. Although the trade out is found, the number's not in their favor. Neki has to be crossed to make it towards this B site, but it seems like FUT are all in on it.
Good seize.
And it's a hell of a shot from Neki. The seize landed, but the shot through the smoke is another layer to it. Cristalli alone, spike in hand at least, but a minute on the clock. He can take it where he wants. It's always the upside. Wrap all the way to A, but a plant in the open. Looking to get away with it.
Yeah, he's
But
dead from
how
behind.
much can he get? They're wrapping around from behind. They're taking their time. And it does feel like, I'll say this, Tom, when the advantages are found by FUT, we've seen this over the last two maps, there's a lot of moments where that at least one more player's like, it's my moment. I'm going to take the shot. I'm going to take this risk. And for Eternal Fire, a team that we have talked about a lot as being also that aggressive squad, and a lot of people out there talk about them as being brainlessly aggressive even, which I would contest. They're not doing that. They're in 3v1s here, and they're playing the numbers. And it feels like more often than FUT.
I'll give you that. I do think on the last map when things were going badly, like Neki being like, I got two, I need to run back through a smoke for a third. Like, there are definitely moments where both teams are doing it, but I do agree. Like, that map one from FUT was a travesty. Like, that was Game of Throws. But we'll have to see after the last map confidence. That's going to build into something special. Ultimate already online for Fabian. That showstopper built up early. And they have 4 players towards this B side of the map and look to go back to contest middle. That showstopper, if used correctly, could be deadly, but they have missed the timing. Back into the sewers they go.
In fact, it's essentially just a Viper orb going up that stops FUT from pressing forward. But they go down into sewers, they wait a moment, allow aggression to come in if Eternal Fire want to take that risk, and now they'll go back towards this B site. A complete fake being sold on A, the Seekers. Even getting the showstopper out on the other side, it's dodged too! Fabian eventually finishes his dinner, but all the while, the ruse has worked. The B side is wide open.
Yeah, even still though, I don't think they'll mind too much. A 5v4 retake for Eternal Fire, it's not too much of a detriment. Okay, maybe there was a showstopper or a Viper's Pill, something that could slow them down. Yeah, maybe that would be a problem. But at the moment, it seems like the ball is in the court of Eternal Fire, and it definitely is now.
I think that might have just been a spam. Great read, great timing. Pressuring a player back towards main. Now Yedege pretty much out of the round. And as he tries to step back in, Echo's waiting for him. Cristalli in the same boat. Echo picking up a 3-piece. And Eternal Fire equalizing the score as a result.
Yeah, I don't mind the idea, but again, you have to have something in those post plants. And the second they lose a second player, it almost feels done. Like, the idea of the fake is decent, but the post plant just not strong enough. And Eternal Fire make that look incredibly comfortable. 2-2. Economy completely in the bin as well for FUT. It's a hero rifle for Zeus and the rest just holding on to what they've got. Now bear in mind, Zeus is 2 off a showstopper, Sop also 2 away from that overdrive. But I'm more looking at the sniper of Izzy. A real opportunity for him to farm. He's just on the wrong side of the map.
The nade is good. Forced all eyes back for a moment. I thought they'd follow up on it. So did EF for a moment as well. You can see the rotation of Neki making his way back towards this A site for FUT. Crossing in mid, it's essential in this round. They were to get back to A if they were to challenge for that control, but straight into an outlaw. They lose one. Fabian's deep push catches Yedege, and now FUT know they're boxed in. They haven't got any space in B main, denied the control on mid by that orb, and lost all control over A main. Even sewers now, a massive problem for them.
Go, go, go!
And then they're gifted a kill. They're gifted a way back in. Izzy's just made a big mistake.
Echo's low, timing is going to be huge. That's now Sop with a rifle and Ultimate online. We talk about the mistakes of one side, well, we're witnessing the mistakes of the other, but that's a bigger problem. That's a spike down. All the opportunity in this round may have just faded in the blink of an eye. A wraparound from SOP.
30
Needs to hit a shot, needs to give some space, and it's not going to be happening. Echo, even on low HP, it's a double up in triples. Another to add to the collection. And what got dangerous for the moment is still going to be Eternal Fire's round.
Yeah, like I said, when they have the advantages, it feels like less of the time they're giving them away. But this is another example of people getting very eager.
30 seconds.
We don't see it in the replay there, but Izzy, I'm pretty sure they were 5v3, and he just swung out jump peek in mid after the orb goes down. Again, granted, it was a good shot to hit by SOP.
Yeah, for sure. He is someone that I think, again, like coming into this stage, his debut, they've been thriving.
Yeah, Echo's just been consistent all series, it feels like, as well. Even when he was having a couple quiet rounds, he'd step up to win them a really important one.
With straight BS.
Yeah. From the get-go. That's to be expected. I'm back on the Viper with the Viper's Pit online. Get ready for more straight BS coming your way. FUT, coming into round 6. A timeout's being called. They come in, rifles by their side, ults in their back pocket. Especially that showstopper on Zeus.
Yeah.
We saw it burned up early by Fabian. He's now just 2 away from having it again. But that Viper's Pit could be the target.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, I wonder if the pit's not down in mid because it makes the Viper too much of an easy target. But then he's used it in heaven. Now, it does make things a little bit harder to pinpoint exactly where he is. He could be up close, he could be further back. It could even be sitting on the edge of the rope and just fade away if needed. But I was wondering if they'd maybe pressure it with the showstopper. For now, at least, just clearing out the vents.
The thing is, you don't have a fade, and there's no Skydog to work with now as well. You can't challenge that pit. It's just not worth it. Instead, they'll go elsewhere. The A site, but numbers are here for Eternal Fire. Zeus having to wait a moment. That rocket fuse running out, and he fires onto dead air as Yedege falls in A main. Another player sneakily sitting down below Zodas, landing kills across the board. It's Eternal Fire shutting down this A push and leaving Sociable all alone as he baits them out into another fight. They will not bite. Sitting back and waiting, even when the plant comes in, the advantage will be theirs, but Sociable takes the fight to Eternal Fire, isolates 2 1v1s, and hell, good try, but not good enough. The youngsters, Eternal Fire, again, find themselves a bit of steam in the early rounds, 4-2 up.
They were ready for everything there. Like, that was genuinely just a beautiful setup. The pit to try and push them in towards the vent. When the showstopper goes off, Paranoia and Seize and Nade to make sure there's nowhere for Zeus to go. Then, when you have that clutch towards the end, they have 2 players over towards the screens, and they have a player waiting in case he TPs onto the other side of the map. They were aware that Sociable had that ultimate online. Genuinely, Eternal Fire had everything covered.
Cover going.
Seen many teams heat up within the Turkish scene, but when it comes to dethroning FUT, especially when on form, it's always difficult to do. Odas with a double. I mean, they at least traded out with the weaker weapons. It's honestly a bit of a win for FUT. The A site wide open, but it takes them a while.
Yeah, they don't know that.
Being cautious of players up in heaven, of course, but that time bleeding from the clock is going to make this much more difficult to get a plant, indeed to get post-plant positions as well, and now there's no one left to do so. The planter dropped before the spike hits the floor. The round's already over.
Yeah, again, you could just see that they are well aware of the potential, like watching towards the ropes. I feel like Eternal Fire are very good at sort of feeding each other that information, and when they're not overheating, when they're not getting over-aggressive, it genuinely looks like they're in complete control of this map. Only the pistol and second round.
He kills 2! This is what I'm saying, though. They always fight for this space. Like, they get in front of this.
the different sides of the coin. But you can understand the frustration. 5 rounds in a row, only the pistol, second round, nothing more for FUT. Of course, looking back to prior matches for Eternal Fire, their defensive side has sort of been the be-all and end-all of this map. And a 13-11 victory over GX, 10 of those rounds were on the defense. But if they go in 10-2, Mitch, I'm not gonna lie, I think that this is done.
There has to be a change, and you're hearing it. I mean, we heard it just there in the replay from our big-time lookalike, that they're always fighting for this space. Eternal Fire, and you can see it. It's especially towards a ramp. I think he was talking about Heaven. It's somewhere that Eternal Fire are not giving up, but that means there's a battle to be fought and potentially won in that space. The problem is Audas, who was previously up top ramp, now sits at the bottom. He had Paranoia in hand, waiting for a sound cue. But now they give up on that crunch, 45 seconds left, and the pressure sits with FUT. A man down, up against a showstopper again from Fabian. That's his second one of the half so far. And when they make noise, that's when the problems should begin. Showstopper fired in right away. That safety net falling on right off rim. And it was a dead-on shot. But with 25 seconds left, FUT needed to pick up the pace, and they've caught Negi reloading.
Yeah, that was an awkward position from him.
20
Audas
seconds.
is still at the back of the site, though. Echo might just be caught rotating. There's a
15.
backstab being watched by Sociable, but that spike still needs to move. There's a chance for Audas to maybe end this round alone, as they now need to get into the site. They have to kill him. They have to kill him. He's looking to leave. Oh, it's seconds away. But Sociable, we speak about his timing. That needed to be bang on.
I mean, he got away with murder in the last round, a double spray down as they came out of the smoke. This time, all he needed was that ult half a second earlier, but it takes them too long to put the pieces together, to figure out the cheat code that they were handed. In a messy round, a scrappy round turns to a sore round for Eternal Fire. Seconds away from winning, but the loss finds its way into their camp. 5-3. The gap closes slightly.
Yeah, that was moments away from being a genius play. A great shot, but they've got to defeat the maestro of mid. Echo always looking to get aggressive. An even trade, not too bad, but Cristalli down, your solo initiator. Gonna make things that little bit more difficult for Fabian. This is cheeky. He expects the first, second player to jump down, but it's not enough from Sop. This man seems like an unstoppable force. Someone to fear, 12 and 5, even looking for more. But now he has been dealt with. They don't clear the site. They've not checked it properly. That's all too easy. And now Echo ends it as well. A response immediately from Eternal Fire.
The Old Kings looking to keep their crown, but the challengers on the other side, the Young Guns, they are looking good. And remember, they were on a 5-round win streak. Lost one, and they're right back to winning ways. Fabian, he's had 2 showstoppers already in this half.
He might get a third.
And he's halfway to his third, exactly. Like, I mean, he will get it by the time we end this. I'd be shocked if he doesn't.
Yeah, he can almost get it off death. So,
Yeah.
if he gets no more kills, okay. I think they might have made Sop a little bit angry. That's Ultimate Online. Not a lot to play with in this round, but maybe he can do enough. A rifle for Cristalli. A patient position from Izzy, just hoping that he can catch someone before they get that spike down. Instead, though, that overdrive has dissipated.
But that's the real problem now as you hear that pit come into play. Sop is not in the position I'd expect him to be in with a judge. I gotta be honest, I expect him to be in the pit, and maybe they do too. He surprised one, and it's Izzy down with Sop on another, and of course, hungry for more. Hopefully that doesn't come back to bite him, because Fabian's still around. 2 away from the showstopper. The Viper's already been rooted from the pit, but the decay coming into play. Yadage gets back in just as it falls, and Fabian falls along with it. And a Moda Thrifty coming in. And smiles on Yedige's face, no surprise. He took a leaf out of Echo's book there, put up the pit, walk right out of it.
Well, I'm sure there was a release of some sort. I think I've had the same, because that was literally a millisecond away from having that go the other way. And you can see it on his face. Fabian with the right read, the right positioning, but just not able to hit the shot, which throughout this map is not something I've been saying. 6-4. FUT climbing back into this one. As said, it's been defensive side prowess from Eternal Fire. Their attack has not been the best on this map. And for FUT, if they can get over onto that side, even close to even, I think they'll be quite happy with that.
There's a much needed round for FUT as that Sacred Flame stays guarded. The title of the best in Turkey still to be fought for even after this match, but securing that first spot in London, it's a statement victory for whoever can find it. Eternal Fire Put the Prowler out and they're rotating. They're leaving the space open. Fabian is the lone defender, and Sop has dealt with him immediately. There will be a showstopper online for the final round, but Fabian's going to have to wait for it. But looking to push up to 5, but that's a crazy smoke invade from Neki.
Yeah, it almost feels like Zeus was caught sleeping. Izzy now on the retake. Overdrive invested. Audas has already caught one, and the man on site gone. Sociable fighting back, in fact, with an impactful double. And it's messy, though, from Crystalli. It has to be Sociable to do it all. Now, bear in mind, Spike is dropped. He does have his ultimate to play with, and might just look to try and dip and wrap back around. Instead, though, he's selling the bait that he has, but he'll be caught on the flank. Neki's timing perfect, and again, it's a one and done for FUT.
That's the problem. A flash in the pan. It's EF that are cooking. 8 rounds on the board at the half. That's the dream.
30.
And again, like, what a historic set of stages we've had when you look at kickoff, sending BBL. They're now taking steps in the direction of Eternal Fire, joining that international roster in the very next tournament. Oh, we can see BBL alongside them.
Yeah, I'd say go back a little further. Look at Ascension. Look at the teams that have come out of it. Look at the new heroes facing off against some of the best, some new youngsters of their own. Already showstopper thrown in. Sop has been dealt with. It's perfectly placed as well. Crystalli will not get that plant in. Buys extra time for the defenders, but they need no extra time. 8-4 at the half. Only singular rounds from the pistol for FUT, and they need a massive turnaround in the next.
It might sound funny to say, even with Audas 9 and 8 at the halftime, but it feels like everybody's had those big moments. Izzy's the one making space, and the rest are delivering in so many rounds when, frankly, they shouldn't. It's been a big uptick for Eternal Fire. 1 half away from locking in Masters London. Keep in mind, our first tickets are about to get stamped. Let's get ready with the halftime quiz.
That's relevant, really.
Neither am I, but I'll figure it out.
You know.
I'll figure it out. 8-4, it's been a strong performance from Eternal Fire, and so far, once the pace is set, it doesn't seem to change until the map is done for FUT. They have to hope that's not the case, or they'll be battling for a spot in London later on. And it's not even straight into a qualifying match. They have a buffer as well. The road gets longer if you lose here. Eternal Fire in the pistol, lose Fabian, the star player of that first half, flattened in the first few seconds.
Yeah, the pistol rounds define the first 2 maps, but with a pistol and second under their belt, it wasn't enough for FUT in the first half. Now they need both pistols. It seems to have an opportunity in this one. Echo up close, already not looking good, but they've already traded a couple back. Neki again, looking to try and save his team, lead by example. Sociable already in, Yetajay a little bit further, maybe expecting a wraparound, but there's no wraparound to be had. In fact, both players are slowly making a move around the elbow, but they haven't been spotted. In fact, the players from the other side have no idea. It doesn't matter, though. Yetajay with a quick double. And that will be the pistol. Yeah, sit back down, Budge. You need to defuse that spike.
Thankfully, he gets there in the end. And a much-needed pistol indeed. That is 2 for 2 on this map for FUT, despite trailing so heavily.
Yeah.
And these pistols will be looked back on as a lifeline, whether, crazy shots as well, whether they make use of that lifeline or not, I don't know. And, oh, he's saying they're in his pocket, man. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, maybe in the pistol rounds. It's been anything but for the rest of the map so far, but you know.
Let's start this part.
A wise man once said, maybe if you're not in the lead, you shouldn't be standing up and shouting.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, 1 win away, boys. What could possibly go wrong?
No, that was a different wise man. I was quoting Yetajay, which, funnily enough, he has stood up. We'll see if that comes back to bite him. Of course, this round, very unlikely. I will say I've enjoyed the fact that we've seen Eternal Fire. I feel like utilize the Bandit a lot more than anyone else.
Yep.
Might not be the most accurate pistols at times, but those headshots do an absurd amount of damage, as does the Judge.
Lovely try. I mean, the flash just didn't catch as much as it needed to. I don't know if the wall got in the way there. I didn't see where it popped, but those players they thought would be blinded.
One hit.
So sending in the judge makes sense. Advantage for FUT, but as you said, no one towards that B site. The stack on the other side. The thing to be careful of here is Sociable. He gets caught out in some of these rounds, and now I see him solo walking up into heaven, re-clearing this with a Bulldog, but his timing is perfect. It looks like he's going to avoid the fight completely. He's heard that plant coming in. He is now a little surrounded. Will find that shot. Here's the danger. As Echo comes swinging in, but he catches him.
Yeah, I feel like that retake percentage should go up a little bit. Again, a little bit of damage off the back of the Bandit. But yeah, with the low weaponry on the other side, I don't think the expectations were particularly high. FUT are going to get themselves to 6, but now we get back into those buy rounds. And as said, if you look at the last half, 4 rounds, pistol, second round, and then everything else was an individual round elsewhere. Taking the time to go back and get the judge, which, you know, I'm sure is going to go straight back into Sop's hands. But this is where Eternal Fire have been fantastic so far. And if we're going off the buy rounds in this map, they should be closing it. But, as I mentioned already, their attack sides of this map have not been particularly pretty. I'm waiting to see if that's going to be the case again.
And these are two teams that, despite having so many young players on it, you know, a lot of the conversation we've had in the past in these sort of situations is about the pressure and the stakes and how that plays into a player's mindset. Well, if you've seen these guys play a little tighter, a little safer, perhaps you may have been watching a different game. Doesn't seem to have had any change. Although, again, fittingly, the round I say that is Eternal Fire sitting back as far as they can, basically in their spawn. But it makes sense. Look what they're up against. A lot of mix and match weapons here for FUT. So you expect early aggression. They haven't seen it. Yeah. So what's the decision then?
The cool thing for the two IGLs is you almost have to think like yourself. What would I be doing in this moment if I had a judge and some SMGs? I'd probably be pushing mid. So they hold mid. They watch mid. They're countering their own playbook. Obviously with some reads into what their opponents do on this map as well. We have seen both teams play it at least a couple of times. Cristalli, I don't know if he's been seen there, but he definitely has the information now. A little bit of help from his friend Yedege, but weaponry-wise, they are outmatched.
Yeah, and just reaching through to the A side so quickly leaves them in a spot where they don't have to take uncomfortable fights. That said, they go battling up into heaven, but it's anything but uncomfortable with 3 players sent that way. A big fight. It's almost their second site take. Even with that paranoia landing. Am I mistaken? Am I blind? That hit Echo, and he still got 2.
I don't think they affect him. I think we've seen that throughout this series so far, that when it comes to this guy being blinded up, he just doesn't struggle with it. And again, as you said, like, we have seen teams, I'll name them, Pacific, yep, well, he's near sighted, so he gets away with it. But you've seen teams do that, and it's been infuriating because they've thrown rounds away. But that is just the confidence that comes with Eternal Fire. A team that at kickoff still managed to beat teams while having 2 stand-ins, while Echo wasn't allowed to play, while Sop was waiting on the sideline. He gets stolen by another team, and now they have the chance to ruin his day, but he is not giving it up without a fight. A couple of openers already for Sop. A big round for him individually, and he's got Sociable alongside him. In fact, they're continuing to battle. And it comes down to just 1 man remaining, and Sociable will end the round within about 25 seconds.
Yeah, his last bullet hit the shot, and we heard nothing but click afterwards. Sociable, cool and calm under pressure, trading out those early fights wonderfully alongside Sop. And the 2 of them have been having one hell of a game. Even though FUT were trailing by so much not long ago, they've been standing head and shoulders above the rest. And only a few steps behind now, as you can see the frustration in the Eternal Fire coaching booth. Never been this close to such a big achievement, and it's Izzy to hit the dirt right off rip.
Sop has been gunning for it. We mentioned before that Neki, other members of this Eternal Fire side, wanted to take him down. Qualifying over him would be something massive, but it has been proven that there was a reason why FUT looked to poach him from that squad. And already with the Judge opener, it's a decent start. Sociable again. Like, they're trying to pressure this A site, but they are walking into the two players that have been devastating for their takes. Zeus, though, his luck's not getting any better, but he'll at least get one with a nade.
Yeah, a little martyrdom action. Keep those numbers favored for FUT, and they will close it out with ease. A complete crunch to put them one round behind. An Eternal Fire, difficulties on the attack side, well, seem to be rearing their ugly heads again. A 4-1 scoreline at the moment, and what was a commanding lead. The questions there for if FUT could bounce back. Well, now we have to ask the question, will Eternal Fire return to this half?
Yeah, it's definitely a good time to take themselves a pause. I want to again just go back to some of those stakes, some of those moments alongside him and before him leave, and he is the one who remains. A lot to play for in these last few rounds.
For the entirety of Eternal Fire, you have to imagine how much it means to see the prodigal son on the other side of the stage, but this one didn't return. He left you for dead, and now he's coming back to finish the job. A double from Sop right after the timeout. FUT miles in the lead. Damage even done through the smokes, doubling down on every upper hand they have, and Sop is gunning for them, running it down on Audaz. You can see the moment that his mind turned to the ace. 3 kills though, more than enough, as the scoreline now stands equal.
This is really turning into the Sop show on this defensive side. The question always comes of who wants it more. We saw from the FUT coaching staff after that initial map, they knew that they'd have to get aggressive. They knew that they wanted to get in the face of their opponents. But the fact is they got shut down.
Come on.
And I'll say as well, for Eternal Fire, they have just been sending it into that A site again and again and again. They have been attempting to challenge Sop and Sociable, the two players that sit top of the board. I go, oh no, this time we'll get them. This time we'll get them. Well, it doesn't seem to matter what they change, what different pieces they put to try and break apart that duo. It is not working. And now they fall into a more standard default, but they have given FUT that runway by attempting the same thing again and again.
Watch out.
How things have slowed down, but they never stay that way for long, not in this matchup. Sop back at it again. 2 rounds in a row now. Izzy has fallen right off rip at his hands. And the fact is, in so many matchups, Sop would go again. He'd go in for more. He'd want that extra kill, but now patience prevails. Sits back on the op, and although they find that space.
Welcome to
Oh, Cap's going to say they're not putting enough pressure on to drag the rotates. Maybe now they are, but the dog has just spotted Neki. Now the ruse is so clear to FUT.
30 seconds.
Even still though, Yedeje went looking. That leaves Crystalli, I was going to say somewhat alone. The Viper's Pit has held a couple of players onto the other side of the map. And why, if at first you don't succeed, try again, because eventually they're going to get that spike down on the A side, what they always wanted.
Just took a little fake towards that B side instead. Fabian, another showstopper. He's been farming these things up, and here's the payoff. A trade onto the op of Crystalli, and Sociable left alone. It seems like a 10th finally found its way into the hands of Eternal Fire. Sociable will be robbed of the clutch, and double digits as the lead stays with Eternal Fire.
Yeah, it's a nerve-wracking round and an incredibly bold attempt from Echo. Like, just throw the pit out as a fake, try and pull the rotations away. Clearly, desperately wanting to go in that direction. Although I almost wonder if part of it is they saw Sop get that opening kill and just go, nah, you know what, I don't want to do that anymore. Like, they have run into him for the last few rounds, so they attempt potentially to avoid him. It seemed like the plan was already in place, but that is just one. You can't ruse with a Viper's Pit if you no longer have a Viper's Pit. They also use a Showstopper as well. A lot of ults expended for a singular round. Do they have what it takes to do it without those ults?
Sop has been a menace for these opening fights.
Yeah. He might overtake Durka at this rate.
I don't think he's far behind after this matchup. But now there's an op on the other side. Izzy has his to work with. For so long, he's been just waiting there on ramp. Both players looking in the same spot, but not in the same position. Yedege, that is such a sneaky play. But how does he get out of here? If there was anyone else there to trade a big battle bruise, but instead, he's left to leave for free.
They've got the read as well. Look, and already a rotation has come in from Zeus. He's in the right place at the right time. Through the smoke goes Sop to try and help out his teammate. Instead, though, he goes down. Fabian available for the trade. But there's still 2 players. Make that 3 now within the site. Do they go back the other way? Of course, they cannot know that there is such a big gap and such a stacked up site.
30 seconds left.
With 30 seconds left, they're going to try and push into this. Crystalli's operator shot doesn't connect, but Zeus up above does. Another now with that operator. It's all falling apart for Eternal Fire. It's a one and done. We said it in the last half. Those attack side rounds are few and far between, but this is now looking like FUT are in full control.
Well, FUT have held the title of the best in Turkey for so long. Looking back at the old roster, so much changed about them, but it seemed like along with the players, the style, the coaching staff, they also changed the level that they're playing at, raised the roof. But things didn't look good after that first half.
All other rounds become irrelevant. It didn't matter if you had a massive lead. It doesn't matter if FUT has have a massive comeback. All that matters is who's the one to get these last few rounds.
Where are you?
Well, looks like Izzy's got a target in mind. Already speeding towards A heaven, but no one there. It backed out. Of course they have. Up against a low by, hearing the Neon sprinted at you. Sop makes the right call. I'll back off and hold the angle. I'll have Zeus come through and fill in the gap in vents. Still holding mid with Yedege. And I guess the weakness is a slightly more weak B hold, less info there, but that's fine because the push is coming in elsewhere and it's messy from Crystalli. That spray is going to haunt his nightmares.
Yeah, that's a gun for Izzy as well. A huge upgrade. They've got that post plant on the A side, Zeus. It's only going to be a 1-for-1 trade, and in these sort of moments, that's absolutely fine. The gun can go into other hands. Nice work from Yedege, though. The spam clears one. Neki hasn't found, well, a rifle, but he has found a Bucky. Going to try and deter them up close. That paranoia wasn't pounced upon because they knew how close they'd need to get. Sop finding the trade, but even still, things come down to even, and Fabian's looking to push that a little bit further, making the realization that they could just be around the corner, but he doesn't hit the shot, and now Neki without the right gun to play with. It's a distraction game from Sop, leaving it to Sociable to close. That duo has literally been devastating them on this A site every round.
They broke his wrist so much he couldn't left click. I mean, the guy couldn't find the trigger. That's ridiculous.
He could have breathed.
Yeah, it's not a pretty spray to start this off, but
look at this.
This is the one here. Oh, man. The ankle breaker. But for Eternal Fire, a game that they were fully in control of. Those reins have been snatched out of their hands, and they've been kicked from the sleigh. The lead, no longer theirs. Now in the hands of FUT. The hands of the banner that has burned brightly.
Scout, just
With a mountain of Turkish talent underneath them. They've always been the best, and it looks like they're gunning for that title once more to hold on to their crown.
Well, that was kind of the funny thing this year. We talked about them missing the boat with talent.
Yeah.
And at the last moment, coming into this stage, they made the change. They gambled. They threw away what had been a long route of players. And if it works out with them making it,
what?
That would be everything to them. Crystalli's whiff in the last is forgotten, but he still goes down. Overfights, wanted a little too much, and gives away that A site. The hold has not been fantastic either, though. Another opportunity for FUT.
Given the Garden of Eden, but the apple drew his eye. Now the 3v3 on the A site. It's this cross from Audaz, though. He can be the trigger point for the rest to go. Echo hears them steaming out of heaven. He's got the perfect position. And finally, the spray finds its mark, but Sop now on the defuse, draws them into the fight. Lands the first and the ult, almost there. But Echo, ever the hero of Eternal Fire, once again He steps up to the plate, steps in for the rescue, and leaves us at 11-11, and nail-biter conclusion coming up.
Yeah, it really has just come down to individual plays at this point. Echo had to land the shot. He had to land everything in front of him. You can even see it looks like he's fighting his mouse. That's what playing against the Neon feels like. And it really is just like all of our coaches have become bipolar. They're flipping between the personalities of elation and devastation every single round.
Scout destroyed.
It is tough to break. The good thing for FUT is they still had some credits on the table, but even those are beginning to dwindle. Both sides pushed to the edge of what their economy can hold. FUT at least have a couple of extra ultimates, but that will flip. They lose this round, and you could be seeing everything online for Eternal Fire to close out the map. They win this round, and the same could be said to go to OT.
There's a nasty bait setup in play here towards B main. Obviously the first point of contact being SUT, but then Zeus waiting. They expect Eternal Fire to go towards this position.
Huge.
And late they put in the showstopper to take them out. That's a massive pick onto Neki. And any notion of going back
alone.
in the other direction is now gone, but that means they press forward into the lone defender of Crystalli with the George up close. Their executioner, 11-11. It's all on the line, but only one man can push them up to it. Izzy, 1v3 on the back of what was nearly a big clutch in the previous for FUT. For SUP now,
They screwed.
Izzy the man who has to do it, and he won't even get the first.
(12-11). FUT have had a climb back, a monumental climb back. And Eternal Fire, well, if this round doesn't go their way, they're going to look back and go, yeah, well, we lost both pistols. Yeah, well, we won first map, but then we got dominated on Ascent. The excuses will fly. But the fact is, there's been opportunities. The post plants on these A sites haven't been solid. SOP has stepped up, sociable as well. In fact, there hasn't been a player that's missed the opportunity to steal rounds away. And then you look at the weaknesses within this buy. The strengths come with the ults. A showstopper for Fabian on what looks like maybe the first direct B hit that we may even just see from this side.
Well, to steal the crown away, the eternal flame of FUT's victory in Turkey again and again, a historic team, and to dethrone them. A mountain to be climbed starts here by pushing to overtime. Inside the pit, Nade goes through, it's forced them forward. The Viper is the one to be caught. Now the pit goes down and everything crumbles to ash and ruin for Eternal Fire. The flame once so bright, dimmed and snuffed out by FUT. Then the Turkish derby that goes the way of the favorites. The banner of old flies once more as FUT